Welcome back, folks, for another live trade case study. Okay, taking a long here, and if you look at the time, again, it's similar timing, right? In that 7:30 pre-market, I guess, in the ICT kill zone, and you can see the order block. Okay, and we've gone above the order block. This down candle, we're pushing down into those two down candles, which is a bullish order block. This is after taking out, you can see on the right hand side, the previous daily low. Okay, so that is, to me, discount, and that's why I've taken this long after seeing the reaction inside of the ICT kill zone, right? ICT kill zone for Asia starts at 7 p.m, just as I mentioned yesterday. Okay, and this here is the most current high. Okay, let's just measure the range from there to there, over 160 pips. Okay, so I'm going to go mute now. I'm not sure if I'll take profits there or higher, because if I look at the 15 minutes, you can see it here, there's another, these are basically equal highs now, right? So if I just draw a little trend line there, that should now be the draw on liquidity. Okay, and so if I look at my current entry from there to there, 160 pips. Well, actually I got in lower, 2974, yeah, so 160 pips. Okay, from my entry, which is just there, right? You can see it here, the arrow there, that's 2974. And just up to there is 150 pips. Okay, now I'm going to talk about how to manage this trade in a minute in terms of stops. Let me just measure what's the range here. Okay, it's 35 pips or so, right? Just about 35 pips. And I'll talk about this in a minute. For now, I just need to do a few things on my own account. So let me go on mute while I fix up a few things on my own account, and then I'll come back and talk about this trade in a bit more detail. So I'm going to go mute now, and then I'll come back shortly. Okay, now let's talk about stops. Now, with this position, it's very, very easy to manage your stops, because it shouldn't come back down here, right? If it comes back down here, then I'm wrong, because this order block, right, should support price. So if we come back down here, then this is not the setup. It's going lower. And that is also indicative, because there is a lower low here, right? The 4 hourly low, there's still liquidity residing under this low. Let me get rid of this box. Okay, so we could still tap that, even though we've come into the daily low. We could still go back under there, right? That's the previous, what's that? That's the weekly low. Okay, so let me go back to the 1 minute. I need to just look at this, because I've got the same trade on in my own account, right? So I'm watching this instead of looking at my own trade. So for me, this is a real trade, even though here I've done it on this paper demo trading account, but I'll replicate the same trade in my own account, right? So I need to just give me 1 second. Okay, so look, I'm going to go mute now, because there's nothing more that I need to say, right? If there is, then I will come back off mute and talk about it. But for now, this is okay. So what I was talking about in terms of the stop was that the trade should not go back under here. So that makes the stop really, really easy to manage, right? Because if it goes back down there, then I'm wrong. That's not my setup, okay? Because from here, it should just reprice higher. So that's where my stop is, okay? If you look at all of my other trades from my video that I've done in the last couple of days where I've spoken about these 1 minute entries, okay, you'll see that the stop is under there. And I don't put a hard stop on, right? I'll just watch it, because sometimes you get a spike and it goes back up. So I'll just watch it under this, and if I can see that the strong move down is going to continue going down, then I'll take it off. Okay, so I'm going to go on mute, and if I get stopped out or do any changes, then I'll come back off mute and talk about this trade. But the reason that I'm a little bit cautious on this long is because of these lows here, right? This is the weekly low, this is Monday's low, so we could go down there. Okay, and so that's why I'm watching this closely. Okay, so I'll keep the screen recording, but really what I want to see is repricing higher, right? Already this, to me, it's not really what I want to see. Okay, I want to see immediately come into the order block, right, into these two down candles, and just start repricing higher. The fact that it's mucking around here, then it tells me that it's not really ready to move up higher. So you'll see me take it off if I don't like what I see in the price chart, but then I'll be looking for another entry. And that entry most likely be under this 4 hourly low, another re-entry under the Monday low, because I still believe we are, that's a discount, right? So I'll be looking to see how does price behave if we get down there. I'm not saying we are, but if we get down there, then I want to see the same kind of setup, right? I want to see, we've taken liquidity, we've come back up into the order block and move up on a 1 minute chart. Okay, so I'm not happy with this price, right? So I'm going to take off this trade, because it looks like we're going lower. So I'll close that out for a small loss. And I also need to manage my own account. So I'm going to go back on mute, and then I'll come back and talk about what I want to do next. Okay. All right, folks, so you can see I'm back in, okay, because, and I didn't get stopped out initially, but I did take the position off, but that's okay. I did the same on my own account, right? So everything you're seeing me do here is exactly what I do and what I have done in my own account. Now, we're not out of the water yet, okay, because of this 15-minute chart, we might just be coming up to do an immediate rebalance, okay? So we had a bit of consolidation, we're now spooling up. As I said, we might just be coming back to rebalance this, but it'd be good to close above this, and looks like we will. We've got about 30 seconds on the clock for this 1 minute candle. And so this isn't market replay, right? I'm doing this in front of you live. This obviously is a paper demo trading account, okay? Because that's what I use for my teachings, right? This is just a 15-minute chart. I've just got this open just because this is the target, right? This high, okay? And you can see that's relative equal highs there, okay? So that's where I'm going to be taking off this particular position. And I've got the same position on in my own account, okay? When I took off the position as it's dropping down, I did the same thing in my own account. So I took a small loss just as I did here, okay? But now looking at this, I probably should have just waited for the low to be taken, but that's okay. I'm not concerned, right? Because I know that if I take a small loss, I'll easily recover that. I'm not concerned about taking small losses, okay? So we're back in the market long, and that's where my TP is, as I've shown you. You can see here on the 15-minute chart. So I'm going to go back on mute. Now, we're still not out of the water, as I said. We could still be just coming up here to rebalance and then still go back down. We are approaching the new hour, okay? And that's a good thing. I actually kind of want to leave this intact, right? Because this is basically 7 p.m. high, okay? And the new hour is starting in about a minute. You can see the time here, right? And that should target the previous hourly high, right? If the market is predisposed to go higher, then these previous hourly highs are basically the target. This is basically the first, remember what I said in my previous video? That first hour, right, is often the manipulation. So we've come down and we've taken out the previous daily low, okay? And that's really the premise of the trade, that we've taken out the previous daily low, which is deep discount, okay? And this is the 7 p.m. first hour, right? Or the ICT kill zone first hour. ICT for Asia kill zone is 7 p.m. And now we're almost starting a brand new hour. We're not going to pull back, maybe to the order block, maybe not, maybe just into the fair gap, or maybe just this could be it, right? This down candle might be enough of a pullback, right? Because we've closed this bearish fair gap, right? And that little down candle might just be enough for the market, right? See, we've closed above. This down candle might just be enough, right? That's 1 minute prior to the new hour. And the market now just could continue going up. So we'll see what this new, this first 15 minutes of the new hour is critical, right? I could pull back into the fair value gap here, okay, or into the these down candles, which is basically the bullish order block now. Okay, so I'm going to go back on mute. I'm just rambling on now. We're going to leave this on. That's the TP. Okay, obviously I don't want to see it go back down below these lows because this needs to keep repricing higher. If we go back down here, then I'm wrong on the trade, right? There's no question about it. So that's how you manage your stops, right? It should not come back down here at all. Otherwise, I'm wrong. So it should just continue repricing higher. Okay, it can come down to these down candles. That's acceptable, but that's where I'll take off the trade, right? If we get back below here, because if we get back below there, then I'm wrong. It's going to go lower. Okay, and as I said, that's possible because you can see this movement up, right? Could just be a rebalancing, right? And from there we could still go down. And the only reason that I'm saying that we still could go down is because of those 4 hourly lows that we haven't taken out. Okay, that's the risk. If these were not here and that we only had the daily low, then I would not be as concerned, right, about those lows. If we only had a daily low and we've moved from there, because daily lows are deep discount. Okay, so far we're respecting the midpoint of this 1 minute fair value gap, right? Body closures are not. They're right. Body closures are above that, so it's not that important on the 1 minute chart, right? But if this was a 15-minute, fair value gap, then that's more important. But on 1 minute, I don't really, that's okay if it does body closures below that midpoint. That's okay, but I prefer not to see it on the 1 minute anyway. Just it means it's good strength. Okay, so I'm gonna go mute. We'll just watch this how this goes. As I said, that's a stop. If we get back down there, I'll be watching, and I'm not, looking to close that because then it'll go lower, right? And the reason for that is because this movement up that we've had could be just a rebalancing, right? Immediate rebalance, and could be going down, and that's because we have liquidity pool below on that 4 hourly chart. Okay, so let's see how we go. Hopefully we get our TP before any movement lower. Okay, so I will go on mute. I'll come back, unmute myself if I need to add any more commentary. You can see this is very, very sluggish, very choppy on the way up here. Normally what I typically do is I simply target a premium PDRA right on the way up, like these fair value gaps here. And that's what you saw on some of the videos that I did earlier this week. I think I posted a couple yesterday perhaps, where I'm just getting in at discount, right? Discount meaning a bullish ICT signature or under a key liquidity pull up today was a previous daily low. And then I'm just targeting some kind of a premium, right? Like a bearish fair value gap on the left on the way up. And, you know, that would have been a nice, just quick, easy exit. You can see from the entry, where do we enter? I think I entered somewhere around about here, maybe. Oh, there's a line there. So just take it from here, for example. You know, up to that, PD raised 90 pips. And like in a few $1,000s, like this open profit here is exactly that. Okay, that's typically what I normally do on these early morning trades, right? Prior to the 8 p.m. session or the 9 p.m. session, I will typically just target a premium PD ray, right? I believe 9 p.m. most likely could come back down, take out these lows, and then go back up, and that would be my second trade. Okay, so that's what I typically would do. This is pretty sluggish. What I might do is see if I want to take off this particular trade, maybe at these highs. I'll see. If we can push through, then I'll leave it on. But if we go up here and start to, you know, if it's sluggish up here, doesn't really push through, then I might just take it off there. So that's kind of my thinking, right? But typically when I'm trading, you know, before 8 p.m., like this entry was before 8 p.m., then I'll typically target some kind of a premium PD rate on the left-hand side. So I really should be out of this trade at this point in time because my entry was prior to 8 p.m. and also obviously prior to 9 p.m., right? Because there's a risk that the new hour, right? We're getting close to 9 p.m. Still 30 minutes to go, which is why I'm okay to see if this can push through. But it's very possible that this 8 a.m. is the new hour, right? 8 p.m. This is p.m. We're in Asia. 8 p.m. takes out the 7 p.m. high, okay? And then 9 p.m. could possibly take out 8 p.m. lows, right? And then move back up. So that's the risk that I see at the moment because of this sluggish price action. Okay, but we'll keep this on. Stops below here. I don't set my stops to break even. It's something that I do teach, right? Because this trade is, you know, 120 pips in profit. And I do teach my students to set your stops to break even when you're above, you know, when you're 50 to 75 pips in profit, right? But I've also told them that my personality is that I don't do that. I'm either stop loss, right? I either hit the stop or take TP. That's my personality. I don't muck around with my trade once it's on. It's either a TP is hit or stop loss is hit. That's my personal choice, right? That's my style of trading. But what I teach is if you're in profit by 75, you know, 50 to 75 pips, then you should be stops to break even because it shouldn't come back after that, right? But I'm leaving this on because really I should have been out by now up here. That's really the way that I trade when I'm trading pre-market like this. But that's okay for the purposes of this. And I've got the same trade on in my actual account as well. So I'm not just doing this because we're on demo. This is the exact same trade I've got on. So whatever I'm doing here is impacting me on my own trading account as well. Okay, so I'm keeping it real. So anyway, we'll see how this pans out. Stops below here, right? And for now, I'm going to keep this on. I'll go back on mute and I'll come back on off mute if there's anything more that I want to add. Okay. Okay, folks. Well, there you go. We've hit TP. Right, pretty straightforward trade. Bit choppy there, but you know, once we hit the new hour, 9 p.m., then we started to get the traction that we needed. You can see it's taken out all that liquidity above and the hourly high as well. So taken out the 8 p.m. highs, 7 p.m. highs, and you can see we've made really nice expansion there. And I expect this market to continue repricing higher. Okay, now that's it. There's, you know, nothing more for me to teach you on this. We came into this discount, okay, right? And that's basically where the market then took off. So really nice trade there. I think entry was somewhere here. And where was the exit? Somewhere around here, close to 200 pips. And I do it every day, right? So this is why you want to be learning from me, right? Because I'm showing it to you every day. And I do it live here in front of you every day, right? On my own account, on this, obviously, when I do training like this, then it's on a demo platform, right? On this trading view, okay? But you see my results, you see my students' results, you see my live trades. This is not a signal that I provided in the VIP community because this is pre-market. But I have given them what they need to be looking for today's trade. They have that. I've posted that in the community. It's not this one, right, at pre-market, but they know exactly what they should be looking for, because this is going to continue higher in my view. Bias for today is to the upside, and I've already provided them that bias as part of my daily guidance that I provide to the VIP. So as I said, you want to be learning from someone who does this every day. This is what I show it to you every day, right? When I get time, I record the screen and do my commentary, but I trade every day. And you see that I post my results every day on Twitter, on YouTube, in the community post as well. And then on the occasion when I have a bit of time and I want to do it, I will record my actual screen, right? And show it to you live, just so you know that I do it every day. I trade live, right? This is not, you can see this is moving around. This is not replay. You can see the buy and sell buttons here. You can see the counter for the candles counting down. You've even seen how I manage my trade. This one, I really should not have taken that off, right? Because it didn't really come below the level. But very important, you'll see that with all my setups, they should never go back below the low that I've highlighted. Okay, go look at the other live trade that I've done, or any of the video that I've done where I've shown you how I traded it, and I've shown you the actual profit and loss, right? Or the post that I've put inside of the group chat for the VIP students. You'll see that the stop is, I mentioned the stop, it should never be breached, right? That's the kind of setups that I provide, right? Now, as I said, this was not a signal inside of VIP because this is pre-market, right? I've given them a signal, but that's not this one here. You can see this is all choppy, right? And but anyway, I've walked you through the entire process, and that's why I do this, so you can see the entire process. As I said, I invite you to join the VIP community. The link to join is in the description of this video, okay? And right now, for new members, it's priced at $4.97 per month, okay? And I'm going to be ramping up the price to $8.97 per month at the end of this month of April 2025, okay? And that's because of the value that I provide, right? You can see I'm doing this every day, showing it to you every day. That's what you're learning, right, inside of that community. And the results of my own positions, results of my students are phenomenal, okay? They're making hundreds of pips every day, thousands of dollars every day, getting their funded account. So it's life-changing. And obviously, I value my time, right? And that's why it's priced at that level. And at that level, even at $4.97, which is the current membership fee monthly, or the new price $8.97, which is going to be the price that I'm going to put up end of this month, April, it's peanuts for what you're learning. This is life-changing, okay? For me, for my account, I can make up to $20, $30, $40, $50,000 every single day. Okay, it's life-changing. And you see me doing it every day, right? Every session, every day, any market condition, okay? So I invite you to join. The link is in the description of this video. As I said, if you are not able to afford the membership fee, then continue learning from my YouTube channels, right? That's another reason why I do this on YouTube, so that for those who are not able to join, they can learn on the YouTube channel, okay? But that doesn't give you access to me, right? And you need access because you need the daily bias, right? This is, I make it look easy, but you got to be able to determine the bias and not get tricked by the market, right? There'd be people who probably would have been shorting this down, right? Short from here, right? So that's where joining the VIP is important, because there's lessons, there's videos, there's guidance every day for daily bias guidance throughout every session, and additional videos that I put up there just for VIP. So it's a whole educational program, okay, with the mentorship, right? So I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, I invite you to join the VIP community so you can get access to myself and be with a group of people who do this every single day, right? And get insights every day as well, okay? As I said, the link is in the description of the video, and I will now talk with you in a future video.